If you have school-age kids that are wrapping up school and are about to be home all summer, you may be wondering, how in the world do I keep my home tidy with the kids home all summer? Or worse, is my home just doomed to be chaos? And that's you. I'm right there with you, friend. When a season's about to change, like the kids coming home for summer break, it can be so tempting to think, what organizing product do I need to add to my Amazon cart so that I can keep these systems functioning over this change of season? But before you hit buy now, I'd love to share 3 things that I think you should consider first. Because what I've learned in my own home, as well as that of in my clients, is that a change of season rarely requires you to overhaul the whole home. Often all it takes is an honest look at your current setup to see what is working, and so you know exactly where to put your energy, your effort, and your money to keep your home feeling tidy this summer. Today, we're using my 3 clutter dial framework as diagnostic checkpoints to identify what might need tweaked in your home to thrive in this season of change. Our goal today is to notice and diagnose. And in the next few videos, we'll be talking about actionable takeaways for any checkpoint that you have that gets flagged. So let's start with checkpoint number 1, also known as clutter dial number 1, inventory. When kids come home for summer, it can often feel like items multiply. Wet swimsuits, library books, art supplies, all the random stuff they bring from end of school year clean out. So the first few days of summer, I want you to pay extra special attention to your inventory. As you go to put things away, pay attention to how full your containers are. Are you having to shove things aside to get their items to their home? Are your drawers and your cabinets filled to the brim? Are you having to spend a ton of time searching for the items that you're looking for? These are questions to ask yourself. And as you're putting things away, I also want you to pay attention to any items that might no longer be serving you. Are there any items from last school year that you don't anticipate needing for next school year? Are there clothes or shoes that your kids have outgrown that you need to get rid of? And at the end of the day, do you consistently have items that are left out that don't get put away? All of these are potential caution flags that your inventory might be too high. Another way you can assess this checkpoint is by assessing how much room do you have to grow in your space. So take a good look through your home and assess how much space do you actually have. Do you have any empty drawer space or cabinet space? Is there any breathing room in your closets? One thing I often talk through with my clients is this idea of considering whether or not you want to fill your space completely full. Because if you fill your space completely full, then you won't have any room to receive or bring in new things or new items. So consider in your own home, if you went shopping this summer, or you brought back souvenirs from your trip, or if your kids fell in love with a new hobby that required a lot of extra gear, would you have empty space in your home to assign those new items a home? Now, a cautionary flag at this checkpoint is simply a guide pointing to your inventory. And you may benefit from fine-tuning your inventory dial, decreasing by decluttering and editing the items in your home in the coming days and weeks. And as a result of decreasing the items in your home, you also end up decreasing what you have to manage. One last note here, if you have implemented a homeless bin already in your home, you should use this to help in your diagnosis. Items that are in your homeless bin that don't deserve being assigned a home inside your home are another cautionary flag that your inventory might be too high and you should adjust it by decreasing some of your inventory. But the homeless bin doesn't just point to inventory. It's also an indicator for clutter dial and checkpoint number 2, systems. Remember, your organizing systems have 2 parts. Where each item is stored, remember every item needs a home inside your home, and how is it stored? Can you get the item and put it back without a lot of friction? Without a lot of steps? Is it easy? So for the second checkpoint, I want you to start taking notice of any items in your homeless bin. If your homeless bin is full of items that you want to keep in your home, but that don't have homes yet, your checkpoint number 2 is getting flagged. Your systems have some room for improvement so they don't snag you up this summer. Remember, items that don't have assigned homes will end up just floating around your house, and your brain will recognize them as visual clutter, even if it's a useful item that you need. So, to avoid this, we want to assign every item a home. And once you do that, you'll want to start looking at the second part of organizational systems, how it's stored. A summer specific way to think through this checkpoint is considering the new activities that your kiddos are going to be doing over summer. Swim lessons, day camps, trips to the pool, to the library, maybe art class or summer sports. Let's say your kiddos are doing swimming lessons. Are the sunscreen and the goggles and the swimsuits easy to get and put back? If they're doing day camp, are the bug spray and the backpack and the change of clothes and the snacks easy to grab or return after they've been used? The main cautionary flag for this checkpoint are items that are not getting put back in their homes. So if an item has an identified home, but repeatedly it's getting left out, it's not getting put back into its home, I want you to look first at the system. Take a good hard look at how it's stored. How many steps do you have to take to retrieve the item or to put it back? If it's more than 3 or definitely more than 5 steps, you may benefit from tweaking the system to have less friction, less steps, so that that item can be rehomed easier, and it will help keep your home tidier this summer. Getting flagged in this checkpoint likely means you'll benefit from a systems tune-up. But if you examine your organizational systems and determine that they're actually low friction, there's not many steps involved to get the item out and put the item back, and the item is still consistently getting left out, then you've likely just flagged your third checkpoint, which is habits. Remember, habits are the daily and weekly rhythms that maintain the items in your home and your organizational systems. You can have the perfect organizational system, but if you don't have habits in place, that organizing system will always fail. Habits are what make used items get back to their homes. Habits are what make the laundry move from the dirty hamper through the wash and back to hanging in your closet clean. Habits are what make the swim bag get restocked before swim lesson. One last piece of the puzzle to consider. This one's a bit more nuanced, but it's worth asking. While they often look different from home to home, we all have habits. Of your kids, how many have started to practice the habit of putting things away by themselves? Now, I want to address an elephant in the room here. We are all uniquely different. There are many ways to raise kids, and we each address this differently. To be clear, I'm not prescribing what you should do in your home, but I am posing that it is worth considering what role do your kids' habits currently play in keeping your home tidy, and what role do you think your kids should play in keeping your home tidy? And the premise behind this question is if it is our role as parents to prepare our children to one day be capable of taking care of themselves as well as their spaces, then the question is, are we taking the age-appropriate steps to help them build those necessary habits? Because they're forming habits one way or another. They're either forming habits that are helpful to this, or they're forming habits that are not helpful to this. And from a logistical standpoint, if the members in your home that do not contribute outnumber the members in your home who do contribute to help, or if the capacity in which they help is so small, like maybe kids help 5%, but the adults do none of the work, then you're going to feel friction in this habit checkpoint, simply because it's easier to make a mess than it is to clean it up. And the workload will probably feel uneven because it probably is. Realistically, it's exhausting for 1 or 2 parents to try to outpace the mess that 3, 4, 5 kids can make. Even 1 kid can generate a lot of mess in a day. So we want to look at this because this might be a habits not yet taught problem. But before you assign all the habit work to your sweet kiddos, give it a fair assessment and make sure that your habits or lack thereof aren't contributing to the problem as well. It tends to be easier for us to notice what others need to work on rather than to take the time to notice what we ourselves need to work on. but often there's usually at least one thing that we can work on too. And that usually leads to more impactful change because the behavior we model tends to do more of the teaching than the talking. That old phrase, more is caught than taught. And believe me, I've tried to do the talking. It doesn't get nearly as far. In fact, my kids started contributing more when I started modeling what I wanted to see them do. So if you've answered no to most of these questions, or if you're feeling like you're the only person in your house that's putting things back, your habit style may be the one to watch this summer. Reality is the habit style is the slowest one to shift. It can take a while to build habits. You can declutter in a weekend, you can implement new organizing systems in an afternoon, but you can't install a habit overnight. But the good news is that summer is a great time to work on habits because the kids tend to be home a little bit more. So before we wrap up, I want to remind you of something as you sit with these diagnostic questions. So clutter is the stuff without purpose. It's the stuff that's wasting real estate space in your home and it's not giving you anything back in return. It's not giving you function. You're not enjoying it for its beauty. And the main reason for fine-tuning your inventory dial is to remove that clutter from taking up space in your home. But expected mess is different. Expected mess is the toys on the floor after the kids have played. It's the dishes in the sink after a meal together. It's the swimsuits hanging out to dry after an afternoon at the pool. Expected mess can create visual clutter. And if it sits too long, it can leave us feeling like our home is out of control. But expected mess doesn't have to lead to chaos. Expected mess is not failure on your part. Rather, it's evidence that life is happening and that memories are being made in a loving home. So if you have your inventory dialed down to the right manageable level for you, and if you have the proper systems and habits in place to maintain those organizational systems, then expected mess can be reset really quickly at the end of every day. The goal of this work isn't to make your house look like it's been untouched for the summer, but the goal is to make your home feel like it can recover quickly at the end of a really full day so that tomorrow as you wake up, you're not greeted with yesterday's mess. For the next few days, I just want you to pay attention to what checkpoints might have got flagged. I want you to pay attention to which of your clutter dials might need fine-tuning as the kids come home so that you can keep your home running smoothly this summer. If you're not sure which checkpoint is flagging or feeling at a loss of where to start, please head to my description. I have a free diagnostic tool for you to help you assess which checkpoints you might need to address so you can identify best where to put your time and effort and energy. If anything in this video has resonated, I'd be so grateful if you would hit subscribe. This lets me know you're finding this content helpful. I can't wait to share more actionable tips in the next coming videos. Until then, I'm rooting for you. Bye.